Live from beautiful Pocono, Pennsylvania at the Pocono Raceway. My name is JoeTowNetwork, and I'm here with you tonight for some extraordinary racing action. The Friends as Sim Racers Tour Racing League Mountain Dew Dash Series comes to you live from the Tricky Triangle Pocono Raceway here in beautiful Pocono, Pennsylvania for what surely should be an amazing, awesome, fantastic, use all the adjectives in the world race this evening. Again, I am JoeTowNetwork, as always, here with you for tonight's broadcast. Flying solo this evening. Hopefully, we can get you some great racing action on the track. Makes my job a little bit easier, and it'll make your night and viewing experience a whole lot better. Pocono is affectionately known as the Tricky Triangle because of its three distinct turns. You have turn 1, which has a decent amount of banking. You have turn 2, which is like Indianapolis, and turn 3, which is like Milwaukee. It'll be interesting to see how these drivers take to the speedway this evening as we watch Keith Patton in the 69 car. Nice. Continuing on in this opening practice session. Hard hit for the 69 car there. Here's Robert Balcom, someone who hasn't raced in the last few weeks here in this 18. He was dominant last time the Friends of Sim Racers Tour Racing League Dash Series was at the Pocono Raceway. He'll look to have a strong run. Last time we saw Brian Wolf at Chicagoland have a strong run. He's out here in this 29 car this evening. This 29 Camaro, part of the strong Camaro brigade that we see as he comes to pit road, practicing those pit laps. Like I said, it should be a very interesting race this evening. We have some great drivers in the field, and I hope that we can end up getting a great race for you guys tonight. Again, my name is JoeTowNetwork. You're here on my YouTube at JoeTowNetwork here. You can follow me on Twitter at JoeTowNetwork93 as drivers are being called to their cars for qualifying. Here, it'll be interesting to see who can go out and make the best times on their laps. You get 2 laps here at Pocono Raceway. So, it'll be interesting to see that for sure. Couple quick facts about tonight's race. It's going to be 50 laps. Doesn't sound like a long race, but it in fact will be. 50 laps here at Pocono is a long time. It's going to be a one-stop race most likely for these drivers. With a larger field tonight, though, than we've seen in recent weeks, that could play into a lot of driver strategies. The assumption would be we have more cautions. After last week, we saw a huge incident on the back straightaway that did not bring out a caution. I'm assuming tonight we'll probably have a couple yellow flags fly to bunch up this field a bit more. On that entry list tonight is the 3 of Bill Myrna in the Bass Pro Shops Chevy Camaro, Cody Luke in the 4 Watermelon Association of Florida Chevy Camaro, Randall Coleman in his traditional Napa 9, or it might be a switch car. Didn't get a good look at it in practice. Trey Coleman in his 14 Chevy Accessories Chevy Camaro. If you're sensing a trend here, let me know in the comments. Then you had the 15 of Matt Watkins in a Super Mario Supra. Robert Balcom's in that 18 Coors Light machine that you saw out there. Tyler Stallhood making his triumphant return here at Pocono after a few years' absence from the Fast Racing League in his 27 Castrol Ford Mustang. Brian Wolf in his Fluid Studios 29 Chevy Camaro. Michael Murata, our Talladega winner from a couple months ago, in his 44 Ford Motorcraft machine. Andrew Miller in his 47 Chevy Camaro. And Keith Patton in his number 69 Ford Mustang. So again, it should be a very interesting race tonight here at Pocono. We're going to see 50 laps of high-paced, high-action drama, intense racing. I'm going to keep throwing these adjectives at you to fill time. Again, my name is JoeTowNetwork, flying solo tonight here at Pocono. It's a little lonely, but it's also a little nice to get some more social distancing out here. You see the crowd is not in the stands tonight. It's been weird with a lot of these tracks not having crowds, but we hope to get the fans back soon here, even if it is virtually. Drivers are still qualifying here at the Pocono Raceway. I'd like to also mention some different sponsors we have. If you go down, you, of course, as always, in the description, you have the JTN Facebook page. Go over there, give us a like, follow to get notifications about when we plan on having broadcasts, which later on in the broadcast we'll tell you about something special we're doing tomorrow night for the Friends of Sim Racers Tour Racing League, the Fast Racing League. As well as a new partner, Autosim, which is a text-based NASCAR simulation game. If you go down in the description below, you can find out more. There's a link to the website for the game where you can download the game and try it out. With Autosim Beta 6.0 coming out around the first week of July, probably after 4th of July weekend. You also have a link to a couple merch stores where you can buy some merch from Bristol's Boutique, which is dog-based, and then my JoeTow designs, which just is some different race car racing related designs. Doing any of those things really helps us out here. Helps validate kind of to keep doing this for me. And anything you do, liking this video, subscribing here, giving a like, any little bit helps, really. So, as the drivers have completed qualifying, we'll run you through our starting lineup tonight. Trey Coleman will be on the pole in his number 14, followed by Andrew Miller on his outside. Robert Bauckham will start third, followed by Randall Coleman. Tyler Stallhood will line up fifth, with Cody Luke sixth to his outside. Seventh will be Michael Murata, Mikey, in that number 44 Ford Motorcraft Ford Mustang. Eighth will be last week's winner, Matt Watkins, the dominant force in this Dash series. Ninth will be Brian Wolf. 10th will be Keith Patton. And 11th will be Bill Myrna in his number 3. So the cars are rolling out happy hour. Big part of happy hour is making sure you know where your pit stall is, making sure that you have your braking points set for coming to pit road. So we'll see some of the drivers doing that throughout this last 5 minutes happy hour. You see Robert Bauckham on your screen, that beautiful 18 Coors Light Chevy Camaro, that silver car. Looks great with the mountains on the side. He's noticeably been absent the last few weeks here at Fast in the Dash Series, so it's great to see the 18 team making it back to the racetrack this evening. You also see 3 more cars coming off. Matt Watkins in his 15, the 9 of Randall Coleman, and the 27 of Tyler Stallhood, who's actually in a Supra. I misspoke earlier. I said he was in a Ford Mustang. He is in a Toyota Supra, a Super Supra, as we like to call him here. That machine looks great. That Team M7 coming back for some races now. Which, again, is just one of the points we like to make all the time here at JTN is this Fast Mountain Dew Dash Series. If you haven't raced in a while, if you haven't run in a while, it's a great place to start trying to either get back in the groove of things or get into the groove of things for the first time if you haven't tried out sim racing, especially since NR is just such a great sim to try to, get used to racing with other guys, get down with kind of how the community works and whatnot. So as we continue to watch, Randall Coleman, who is the league owner of Fast Racing here in his number 9 Camaro. You see Matt Watkins up ahead. Big thing here at Pocono will also be the draft down the front straightaway and the long pond stretch, which is this next long straightaway here off of turn 1. But due to him winning the last time we were here at Pocono, Randall has our Autosim driver spotlight this evening. Randall won last time here at Pocono in the fall, or the winter I should say. Had a great run then, and he will be looking to back that up tonight with that number 9 team. He's also had a couple really decent runs to start this segment too, and we'll look to try to hopefully close the door a little bit. Not close the door, but close the gap in on Matt Watkins, as he's doing so on the racetrack as well. So Randall Coleman will be our Autosim driver spotlight for this evening. Again, thank you to Autosim for jumping on and helping with trying to get the word out for them, and hopefully that helps a little bit on their side. And again, you can go to the link in the description to find the download and their website, where you can find out more about an amazing text simulation NASCAR game. You see Andrew Miller in this 47 Steven Universe Powerade Chevy Camaro. Again, you can just kind of see the scale of this track. 2.5 miles here at Pocono. It's a big one. And all these guys, again, are going to be fighting really hard. You can see it's really tight off the corner there, but you gotta kind of get as much run off of turn 3 as you can, because that long front straightaway is a great time to kind of make the move on somebody to try to pass them as you go down here into turns 1 and 2. And another thing about these cars here, you can kind of make the outer groove work a little bit in turns 1 and 2, or turns 1. It's gonna be hard. I'm a guy that thinks this track has 6 turns, but it only has 3 because it's a triangle, so it only has 3. But you saw it there, Miller. He used the outside to try to get around the 18er Robert Bauckham. Another thing though, I'm hoping we don't see a lot of tonight is that curb down there in turn 2. It can sometimes send your car flying. So that can be something that can prove pretty treacherous, especially if you have someone to your outside. Here you see the 44, Michael Murata. Murata. He'll let me know after the fact if I pronounce his name right. But Mikey returning to the Dash Series for the first time in a couple weeks. And it's great to see him. He had a rough outing at Sonoma a few weeks ago in that 44 machine. But they're hoping to turn it around here at Pocono. Another guy out here, Brian Wolf, in this 29 car. Looks like he's actually probably going to take it back to the garage real quick. But Brian Wolf in that 29 machine, he was looking strong last week, and just that whole Chicagoland race was really weird with the way pitch strategy and stuff worked out. So be interesting to see too. Tonight might work something similar. You know, a lot of times teams at Pocono, they do the similar thing with what they do at road courses, where they work the strategy back from the end of the race instead of from the start of the race. So it'll be interesting to see if some of these guys do the same thing. But with it being such a short race, I don't see that happening. It's going to be a one-stop race, so either you're going to short pitch, try to get something good on tires, even if it's a couple laps, or you're just going to stay out as long as you can, thinking you can gain time on guys that come to pit road. Again, my name is Joe Twansky. You're here on my YouTube channel for this broadcast, this premiere presentation of the Friends of Sim Racers Tour Racing League Mountain Dew Dash Series at the Pocono Raceway by JTN. And we're so happy to have you along for the ride this evening. Again, hit the like button, subscribe here, go over to our Facebook page, give us a like there. Again, every little bit counts and helps as the drivers are getting lined up on pit road here, getting called to their vehicles. As you see them starting to populate the grid here. It looks like we got a couple stragglers here. But we get that full pace lap here, so it'll give us a good chance to kind of take you back through our starting lineup this evening. And hopefully give you, maybe you can pick out some guys that you'd like to keep an eye on throughout the evening with our ticker at the top of the screen. That'll show you the accurate running order on a lap-by-lap basis, of course. So,
drivers, start your engines!
And there it is, the command to start engines. All 11 of these drivers get their cars fired up. You see Trey Coleman pulling off. He will start on the pole. Inside line, preferred line going down turn 1. To his outside will be the 47 of Andrew Miller in that Steven Universe Chevy Camaro. Starting third will be Robert Bauckham. He ran runner-up last time here at Pocono. He's going to look to win this evening after leading the most laps then. And then to his outside is the 9 of Randall Coleman, who won last time at Pocono in that 9 Chevrolet. Lining up fifth, he's got rookie stripes on the back, but he is familiar with NR and the Fast Racing League. It's Tyler Stallhood in that 27 Super Supra. And to his outside is the 4 of Cody Luke in that Watermelon Association. Number 4, Chevy Camaro. Starting 7th is Michael Murata in the 44 Quick Lane Ford Mustang, number 44. 15 of Matt Watkins will line up to his outside. Rolling off 9th is Brian Wolf in the 29 Fluid Studios Chevrolet and Keith Patton in the 69 Chevrolet, sponsored by Flowmaster. And rounding out your field will be the traditional black and silver Intimidator machine of Bill Myrna in that number 3 GM Goodwrench car. So, 11 drivers this evening, a far cry from last week's 5 here at the Pocono Raceway. Last week, we saw a great show of green flag action. Tonight, I'm hoping that we get a little rough and rowdy here at Pocono. It may be the honeymoon capital of the world, but these drivers will definitely not be in love with each other after this race. It's going to be 50 laps of hard racing action as they come down the front straightaway. Pace car is off into the restart zone. And green flag is out. We are underway here at Pocono. Trey Coleman and Andrew Miller got a decent jump on the field. I wonder if maybe they picked up their pace speed a little too much. You see Trey's going to slide right in front of that 47. They're going to be single file down into 1 and 2 for first and second. Randall Coleman makes the pass on the outside in the 9. See them coming down. It looks like someone towards the back of the pack might have hit the wall. It might have been the 3 of Bill Myrna. So they come down into turn 2. It's interesting to see, too. You see these guys, they're starting to slide a little bit, maybe overusing their tires early on in this race. Be interesting to see what kind of strategy goes into tire saving and managing your stuff. You see the 27 to Tyler Stallhood. Looked like he had a rough time through turn 2 sliding, but if we go back to the lead, Andrew Miller starting to poke his nose underneath Trey Coleman for first. Coleman leads lap 1. And you're already seeing these cars, they're starting to get into pairings of 2. You see the top 2 are kind of together, and then there's a little bit more of a gap to third. Third and fourth are a little together. There's a big moment for that 9 car there through 1 and 2. It looks like he might have hit the apron and got a little loose. That's going to give the 18 a chance to maybe make a pass, but he doesn't. He stays in line. But again, tire strategy and tire saving will play a big role in a lot of the way these drivers run these corners, especially down here in turn 2 where you're more prone to using up your stuff. You want to get great runs off all these corners, but turn 2 is definitely the one where you're going to make up the most time in the corner, whereas here down in turn 3, you see Coleman goes way wide and Bauckham passes him real nice to the inside as Trey Coleman and Lee goes way down the track. Looks like he might be pulling over. Oh, he is just trying to break the draft down there. He leads lap 2. Miller now looking to the outside, but that 14 might have a better run off the corner, but they're going to be side by side down the long pond stretch. Miller's going to have the preferred line going here, down into turn 2 here, but it looks like Coleman barely clears him before they get into the liftoff zone. See, 27, Tyler Stallhood way wide, way out of the groove. Looked like he might have charged that corner a little too much. As now Andrew Miller's to the outside of Coleman in the 14. Coleman drifts up. Oh, that's going to put great car control by the 47 of Miller, but that's going to let Robert Bauckham get to his inside. Great racing up to the front. Bauckham's now made up a position to move into second after losing that third spot on the opening lap, but now he's going to look to the inside of it. Trey Coleman. Bauckham to the inside, Coleman to the outside as we go down the long pond stretch into turn 2. It looks like Coleman again is going to clear that second place car, but no, that point of the Doze of the Camaro was there, but Bauckham definitely let off a little bit, give the Youngster and the 14 some room. So they go down into turn 3. Coleman had a big moment down here last time. See, the 18 lifted a little earlier, but now slides way up the track. Let's see if this 18 gets a better run down the straightaway. See already, Bill Myrna in that 3 way back, as well as Brian Wolf starting to lose some ground. But really, it's a battle between these top 4 right now for this lead, as they're all within a couple tenths of each other. Again, side by side down this long pond stretch. It looks like that 14 just isn't very strong down in turn 1, but he does a great job of running through turn 2 here. It looks like the 18 might be able to get to his inside. And he does. 18's to the inside of the 14, going down into turn 3. It'll be interesting to see what happens here. 18 definitely charges the corner. He's going to drift up a little bit, and the 14's way up against the wall. That's going to allow the 18 to get by here because he's got the push from the 47 of Miller. Although I'm not sure because Coleman's got the push from the outside, but Robert Bauckham, give him that lap. As Bauckham's going to clear the 14 going into turn 1, and Miller does the same. So now it's 18, 47, 14, and 9. But now Coleman gets a great run on the outside here. So we got another car in the wall closer to the back of the pack that looked like it might have been the 27. Miller still trying to pass Coleman. He was not able to do so, but Bauckham made it look easy going through turn 3. So now we've kind of single filed out here. I think we are kind of at the point where you're at is how good your car is. So now it might be time to start saving tires. Guys getting really high off of turn 3. In my own experience, I like to wrap that bottom a little bit more because then I can get on the gas. Maybe I'm getting on the gas a little later, but I can punch it and get those RPMs going as high as possible, as quickly as possible. But then again, I'm not in this race, so what do you know? As Robert Bauckham continues to lead here in his 18 Chevy. But yeah, this field, I mean, it's single file, but they're all top 9 are all within striking distance. If there were to be some incident with the leaders, as Coleman, Trey Coleman in that 14 grabs the apron or grabs that rumble strip like we talked about in opening practice. Look to make that car uneasy. He goes way high down here in turn 3, and that might again open the door up for the 47. Is now the 15 of Matt Watkins. Looks like we're having a game issue. Oy vey. Looks like we had some game issues here. Try to get everything back for you as quick as possible here. What we're gonna do, we're gonna go away for a real quick commercial break, and come right back to you for the rest of this race. So hopefully we can get everything, all our graphics, all our counters running right for you. But Robert Bauckham currently leads here at the Pocono Raceway. He's followed by Trey Coleman, the 14, Andrew Miller running 3rd, and then Matt Watkins running 4th in that 15 Supra. We'll be right back with you here at the Pocono Raceway. Alright, again, back with you here at Pocono. We're going to quickly try to get back into this game. Hopefully nothing happened to our leaders. Big junk for the JTN crew this evening, but again, we're going to try to bring you the broadcast as clean as we can. You'll hear the drivers to their cars again here. But, as I said, Robert Bauckham, currently your leader. As we missed a caution. There was a caution on the speedway. It looks like it involved Trey Coleman in the number 14. And again, I apologize so much to you guys here. Trying to gather everything up. It looks like the 14 car. Looks like the back end might be crushed in a little bit, but that might end up helping that car. Might make it a little bit looser for Trey. But yeah, an incident with the 14 car is under caution here, as Robert Bauckham now leading everyone down to pit road. So yeah, everyone coming to pit road, taking the opportunity to pit here. You see everyone pulling into their pit boxes, getting 4 tires. I see fans in the stands, watching these crews do their work. You can't see the crews, of course. But it's going to be Bauckham, Coleman, Watkins. Looks like the 47 has a long stop. 44, 69, 24, 27, 29, 47. It's like Bill Myrnahan's going to get out with that second to last spot. And then Trey Coleman rolls off here. So a lot of damage to that 14 car. Unfortunate for a guy that led so many laps here at the start of the race. But he currently runs 11th. I'm going to do a quick check of something real quick for you guys. But Robert Bauckham, currently your leader. So they're taking their time. As you see is the helmet cam here. You can see the 9 of Randall Coleman in the rear view. It'll be interesting to see how this kind of works the strategy. They're not in position to where they're going to be able to, you know, stretch fuel by any means to the end of the race. But they could be in a position where they perhaps just split these last 40 laps or so, come down, get tires after 20, and make those last few runs. As Randall Coleman's going to come down pit road, top off on gas. Looks like a lot of guys are going to follow him. But yeah, you see the yellow flag still displayed. We're still going to have another couple laps of pacing. While we're doing that, of course, I'd like to encourage you to go down into the video description. There's a couple links down there. You can go to, there's a couple Teespring stores set up where you can help support us. You can use code JTN2. That is code JTN2. It's also down there in the description to get 10% off any purchase you make at those stores. You can also go to facebook.com to our JTN page. Give us a like, a follow there, whatever you want to give us. Turn on notifications for any new posts by the page. And if you do that, you'll get notified anytime that we post that we're going to be going live. I said earlier I was going to tell you about something special we're doing tomorrow night. Tomorrow evening at 8 p.m. right here on YouTube, we're going to do a Fast Racing League Cup Series Chase special, playoff special. We're going to have as many of the 16 playoff drivers on as we can, interviewing them about their season, what their hopes are for the playoffs, as well as revealing the 7-race playoff schedule, something special about the Fast Racing League where the drivers and teams don't even know what those last 7 races or what those last 7 races are going to look like. They will be here at Pocono next week. They already know that. But if you didn't, there you go. The Under Armour Cup Series will be here at Pocono. We'll be, like I said, we'll be interviewing the drivers, revealing the Chase playoff bracket, as well as showing off those drivers, as well as revealing the 2020 Season 2 track schedule. So if you come join us for that, you like some of those tracks that you see for the next season, wouldn't be a bad idea to join fast, whether it be in the Dash Series, so everyone can start getting accustomed to your name. You see the 18 Robert Bauckham coming to pit road, everyone coming to pit road, top off on gas. But you can get accustomed to everything with these drivers. You see everyone coming to pit road here. Yeah, almost a big moment there with the 18, the 47, and the 14. Looks like Trey Coleman's they're gonna take that car behind the wall. But yeah, it looks like Bauckham in that 18. He's got a good run going. As the pace car lights are off, Matt Watkins and Bill Myrnahan will be on the front row here. And what should be an interesting start. And now joining me right now is Mr. Tommy Bordeaux. Welcome back to the booth, Tommy.
Hey, thanks, Joe. It's good to be here. Just got my flight landed from tonight's Knockos race, and I'm ready to here at Pocono to broadcast with you.
Yeah, and it's been a really interesting race so far. We saw drivers being able to kind of move through the field, and then an early caution, which of course we lost all our camera footage of all at once, but that involved the guy that was leading a lot of this race, Trey Coleman in that number 14.
That's unfortunate. Trey Coleman had a lot of speed in practice. I was looking at some timesheets right as I boarded the plane, actually, to get over here. And yeah, it looked like he had a lot of speed today. So that's unfortunate for him. And Joe, did you make a pre-race pick?
I didn't make a pre-race pick, but I talked about our Autosim driver spotlight, the 9 of Randall Coleman. Since it's still pre-race for you, you haven't seen these guys go green flag racing. Who's your pick, real quick?
All right. Well, if I had to pick somebody, I'm going to pick Michael Murata. Because at Daytona 2 years ago, when I met Michael Murata in person, I gave him a signed triangle. Here tonight at Pocono, we're at a track like a triangle. I think Mikey's going to win this race.
Yeah, as we see, the green flag is out. Mikey's been strong. He's kind of just been sitting back there, keeping his car clean. Be interested to see if he can start making moves here as we get into the second run. But Matt Watkins leading him down to turn 1 with Bill Myrna staying steady in second.
Yeah, and another surprise here at this race, Joe, I just want to mention is Tyler Stallhood in that 27 car. How about the big return from that guy coming out here, an old veteran of the sport, driving that Toyota Supra.
Well, that Super Supra, that is, and yeah, he's just, I don't know, he's done a really good job. He was running up inside the top 5, close to the top 5 on that bubble, and for not being around the Fast Racing League for a long time, he's doing a great job. And of course, as I say that, he hits the wall. Oh, and Mikey! Mikey's around, the 3's in the wall. Caution is out here at Pocono, I assume. You never know with these fast officials, but...
Yeah, sometimes they can sleep at the job, but I'll tell you what, unfortunately for my pick, he ended up in the turn 3 wall. Now, important to note here, as caution is in fact out, there is no turn 4 here. Is that right, Joe? Because I don't see one.
No, there is not a turn 4 if you abide by the fact that triangles only have 3 points.
Okay, well, that's good to know, but I'll tell you what, that's an unfortunate accident there for the number 44, Michael Murata, Quick Lane Motorcraft Ford Mustang.
As we'll get a replay of it here for you. It just looks... I don't know if he just went into that corner way too hard in that outside lane, just lost all grip on those right side tires. But it just looks like he lost it. Maybe saw those guys up in the wall. Maybe there was some oil down on the track.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you what, there's a lot of different lanes you can run into turn 3 right there. But the problem is if you choose one, you kind of got to let your car do that lane, right? If you're jerking the wheel around a lot because of, say, an oil slick on the track, right? So you're trying to save the race car. That can unsettle things, Joe, and that might be what happened right there. Just got loose after running that wheel a lot, and unfortunately for him, ended up in the wall backwards.
Yeah, just really unfortunate for that 44 team. They were looking to have a strong run. He was racing against you at Sonoma a few weeks ago and had a tire failure late in the race. You had a tire failure as well late in the race. But that 44 team has struggled their last couple outings after winning at Talladega earlier this year.
It's really surprising. Michael's one of those drivers who I think every race he has a chance to do well, finish top 5, top 3, and win every race he's in. I got to be honest with you, he's that good of a driver. So I don't know. Hopefully the damage isn't too bad on that 44 machine, and he can come back out there and compete. Right now we got a pretty stout lineup, I say, compared to last race. It should be pretty competitive.
Yeah, we've seen Matt Watkins. He started at the back, did not qualify that 15 machine. He's made his way up to the front. He was running 4th before the caution, but after everyone pit that last time by, under the last yellow to top off on fuel, he decided to stay out, grab the track position. But then we've also seen Robert Bauckham be able to make 2 to 3 really great passes on guys to fight his way back up to the second position now, where he was leading before that caution. Real quick, you said late flight, we try so hard to get you and some other guys in the booth that have some great sim racing experience. Well, you had a great experience tonight at Nacos. How'd that 57 TWV machine do this evening?
Well, once again, Joe, that 57 TWB Mercedes-Benz finished in 3rd position, so another good result on the podium right there. And my teammate Davey Hazard, of course, best friend Davey Hazard in that 75 machine, also in Mercedes, won the race. So now both of us are leading the points. We are 1 and 2, the 75 and 57 respectively.
Well, that's a great thing for you and your team PTR, right?
That's absolutely correct. Team Prime
contact.
Racing.
Sorry, contact here. It's like those guys are having a little fun down the short chute here. But yeah, I mean, you guys just do a great job. Great teammates. It's inspiring to see. And Davey now almost has a handful of wins over there. Um, a guy that's very similar in this series is Matt Watkins in that 15.
Yeah, that's 4 straight for Davian. I wish maybe I could have broken that tonight. One of these weeks I certainly will, or somebody will, but I hope it's me. I'd rather have him win than somebody else if it's not one of us. So we'll see what I can do. Obviously, it's going to be hard to beat some of the best, and if there is going to be someone that's categorized as one of the best, well, it's Davey Hazard for sure.
Yeah, as we're now, our infield reporter got a quick snippet from Trey Coleman, driver of the 14. That 14 car just stepped out on him, he says. The 14 machine left some oil on the track in 3, which caused that caution there. So that's, of course, that's unfortunate. And he doesn't believe that officials were able to get Speedy Dry down on the surface. So that's definitely on our fast officials this evening for some incompetence here at the Pocono Raceway.
Yeah, I mean that's a problem you see in real racing too. Every time they go through that speedy dry, big cloud of dust kicks up, and you think, oh man, someone's going to lose it in there. But I think Joe, with the lack of personnel at these events, because of course the pandemic going on and social distancing requirements, in fact, having less staff members at the track to work on those issues such as speedy dry and making sure it's cleaned up, that probably affected things there. And unfortunately, a couple cars got involved in that, but I think everything's cleaned up by now. If not the Speedy Dry officials getting it cleaned up, at least the cars themselves certainly did.
Yeah, it's just, again, unfortunate for that 44 of Michael Murata. He was doing great. But, all right. I'll give you another chance then. You only had him for a lap, not even. Do you want to change your pick, or is it still that 44 machine?
No. I'm not changing my pick. I'll tell you what, man. I'm one of those guys that never give up. I stick with my guys, and if there's anyone to stick with, I'm going to stick with Michael Murata.
Yeah, and Mikey's he does a great job every week. He races for me over in the Fast Cup Series. He's a great teammate, great guy. He's running his own team down here in the Dash Series with that 44 machine, and they've just done such a great job of getting that car prepared. They, pick and choose their races so they can bring the best equipment to the track every week and give them a shot to win. So great to see that 44 machine back on track with Quick Lane on the door, on the quarter panels, and Motorcraft on the hood.
Absolutely, and I don't fault them for having an accident there. Obviously, this place is the tricky triangle. It's tricky. I mean, yeah, it's tricky. You can't expect someone to be perfect around here all the time. Yeah, it's very tricky. I think in geometry class, this would be called a scalene triangle. You got 3 different turns, 3 different angles, 3 different side lengths. So, yeah, definitely very difficult, and I don't blame him at all. I think he can get back up, get a good finish for sure.
Well, yeah, that 40 it doesn't look like there's much damage, and if anything, sometimes damage with these cars, it might help make them turn a little better as the run goes on. So, again, interesting to see if that 44 can kind of work back up to where he was, and then hopefully go further up in the field from there. As we got the one to go.
No, if I know anything about these dash cars, occasionally, I think if you had to guess the setups on these cars, which of course they're fixed setup, everyone has the same equipment underneath them. I think would tend to be on the tighter side. So perhaps some well placed damage might give you a little bit of an advantage if it loosens that car up. So we'll see how that 44 car handles, especially when it's behind other machines out here.
Yeah, and that 44 machine, it was already fast, so maybe that damage makes it a little bit faster as they're going to be going through the tunnel turn here on the backstretch. They call it the tricky triangle. It's a tricky track, but what corner is the trickiest?
Well, this is personal, but I think in trickiness scales, I'm going to put it at turn 2, the trickiest, tunnel turn.
Yeah, I would agree with you. It's just
The thing is, you come off of, that backstretch there into turn 2, and it doesn't have a whole lot of banking. And the thing about that turn, it tightens up so quickly on you on exit. Where turn 3 and turn 1, there's a little bit more room off there. Turn 2, man, things just sharpen up so quick. So I see that's the trickiest corner in this tricky triangle, Pocono Raceway. That's the tricky turn 2.
Well, and sometimes you just see guys, they can flat-foot it through there as the pace car pulls off. Matt Watkins will lead him back to the green flag as he did on the last restart. This time with the 18, the Robert Balkum to the outside. Green flags in the air. We're back underway racing here at Pocono.
Once again, you see all those Chevys in this race. Although, Matt Watkins isn't alone in his Supra contingency tonight with Tyler Stallhood also in his Supra. So good for him to see another manufacturer out there. Of course, Michael Murata in the Ford. So a little bit more diverse field here tonight. That's always a good thing to see.
Yeah, and just you see so many Chevys in this field, and then you wonder how Toyota has been leading the wins this season, but it looks like Robert Bauckham tonight might be the guy to break Matt Watkins' streak. So he drifts a little bit to his outside, looks to make a pass on the outside like he did to Trey Coleman.
Well, if I can tell you anything, Joe, I can tell you if we can mirror real life right here in the real life Xfinity series, those two Fords of Chase Briscoe and Austin Cindric have been doing very well, always up front. Briscoe, of course, with a couple of wins in his pocket this season. And they're the only two Fords in the whole field. And a field primarily consisting of Chevys, except for, of course, the Gibbs and MBM Motorsports Toyotas. So sometimes it can happen if that car's good enough. It doesn't matter what that badge on the hood is, go out there and win the race.
Well, yeah, that's just been a problem with the Xfinity series as a whole, is just kind of the Chevy series, really. But now you see the battles for second. Andrew Miller looking to the inside of Bauckham, but dips back behind him, try to get a good draft going down the Long Pond stretch.
Boy, he was really close in that mid corner to the exit on the 18 right there. Taking that shallower exit, though, gave the 18 a bit more of a run off the corner. And now it looks like the 18's trying to look on Matt Watkins for a move into 3.
This is something similar he tried to pull on the 14 and the 47 earlier in the race. Doesn't look like it's going to work, as the 15 is going to get a great run off of turn 3 here.
We've seen the 18 time and time again. Not only the 18, but also the 15 battling for wins. We saw, of course, the 18 lead a lot of laps at Martinsville. He was overtaken by David Day at that race. So we've seen that 18 and that 15 battle before. But of course, tonight at Pocono, probably as further away as you can get from a track like Martinsville.
I would agree with that in some aspects, but a lot of times Martinsville, you got to be, you're really close to guys. What we've seen tonight there's another great example down the backstretch. The 18 is all over the bumper of that number 15 Supra. You got that same close action. You talked about how turn 2 really narrows up Martinsville, a really narrow track. So I feel like some of maybe the visuals more so than the actual driving maybe mirrors that, and that might be why that 18 car is just really running a great race here this evening.
Yeah, and Robert Balcom always does a great job. Short tracks, long tracks, doesn't matter. That guy's the wheel man. But right now, I'm telling you what, Joe, that top 3 have broken away a little bit by a second. Back to the 69 of Keith Patton in 4th there.
It's interesting to see, of course, that happening. We saw earlier in the race the top 4 pulled away a little bit, and then we had the caution for the 14 of Coleman. But we're seeing some different players up in the top 5. The 69 of Keith Patton and the 4 of Cody Luke moving up into the top 5. Randall Coleman stranded back in 7th, having a hard time getting around that 29 machine.
Yeah, and I think something that he might struggle with tonight if he goes on sort of a alternate strategy and he has to deal with some traffic is track position. Track position is crucial not only at the Knockos race tonight, but also here at Pocono. I'm telling you how many times I've been burned by bad track position and helped by good track position. For those 3 cars out in front, enjoying that clean air and working together in the straight line they are, I'm sure it's helping them a lot. But definitely a shout out to Keith Patton in that 69 car in 4th. He's had a couple tough races. Just to see him in the top 5 right now, that's awesome.
Well, yeah, it's a great run for a small team like that in that 69. And, you talk about track position and clean air versus dirty air. A lot of times I think people discount dirty air with these Dash Series cars. They have the smaller spoiler, but how much does dirty air really affect the guy behind the wheel here?
Well, I'm going to tell you that it kind of depends on the corner. If it's a more high-speed corner, it can affect it more. Like turn 3, not too big of a deal. But I'm telling you what, turn 2, if you're tucked up, a tenth behind that car in front of you, boy, that can be really frustrating because that car all of a sudden tightens up even more so than it already is through that corner. It can be really difficult if you're not setting up your car right and backing off just a little bit going into that turn. But I think right now, compared to like Cup Series cars, we saw it at Michigan too earlier. Dirty air doesn't seem to be as big of a factor, I think, with these aero packages on these cars.
Mm-hmm. Well, we're seeing these 3 cars, they've just broken away by a huge gap back to 4th. And then the 69's kind of broken away from the 4, and the 4's broken away from the 29 and 9. A guy like Randall Coleman now makes the move underneath Brian Wolf in that 29 machine to take away the 6th position. And now you see Tyler Stallhead in that 27 also trying to make a pass. Could Randall be maybe on a strategy where he's trying to save some fuel? Oh, Mikey. So you see contact between the 29 and 44. Michael Murata went way too hard down into turn 3, and he got the 29.
Oh, that's unfortunate. Of course, that's my pick. That's not how you want to see your pick bringing out the yellow like that, unfortunately. About halfway through your, yeah, looks like that rear end in that 44 car is pretty smashed in. It looks like he took a hard hit to the outside wall once again.
Yeah, it looks like he maybe just went down into the corner way too aggressively, maybe trying to get to the inside of the 29. See a replay here. The 27 clears the 29, kind of going aggressively, in the 44. The 29 might have came down a little bit, and the 44 might have hit the apron a little bit. Just one of those racing deals, as the folks in the garage area like to say. But yeah, tough break for that 44 machine. The whole rear end of that car, as you see here, torn up, smashed up, and just again, a tough break for Mikey in that 44.
Yeah, and we saw, yeah, he'd already been struggling with turn 3, of course, in that last yellow as well. So, and he took a big hit to the side of that car. Wonder if that maybe knocked something out of line or possibly broke apart or sheared something, because I don't know if that 44 was handling as well as it could. It certainly looked down miles an hour.
Yeah, I mean, it again, it goes back to track position too. He lost all the track position he had. He was running up towards the top 5, now towards the back half of the top 10, the field here, and just getting into that dirty air and losing all that track position really hurts. The car is coming down pit road here.
Well, quite a few takers, especially with our leaders, but one car that stayed out is actually going to be that 27 at Tyler Stallhood, that guy who, hey, who is that guy? I haven't seen him for a while. He's going to lead himself a few laps, maybe stay out in front of the field and get that track position, possibly pull some strategy, or he might pit next time. But either way, hey, that 27 Toyota Supra up front.
Yeah, it never hurts to lead laps, even if they are under caution. You see all the cars down here on pit road now. Be interesting to see if that 15 gets out in front of the 18. It looks like he might be a little more blocked in, but it looks like the 47 of Andrew Miller is going to beat everyone off pit road, followed by the 18, 15, 4. It was a close battle between the 9 and 69.
Well, and that's huge, Joe, because if you're controlling that restart, if you're up front, that clean air in front of you, if he can get a good start, get through the gears clean, he could pull away and find himself in that lead. And we saw in that pack of 3 right there pulling away, there wasn't too much passing between them. Once they got in the single file line, it was pretty much static as they ran. So that's a big pit stop for that 47 crew. They did a great job getting that car back out on track. Hopefully he didn't speed at all, but it didn't look like he did. And he's going to line up right now behind the 27. We'll see if Stallhood pits.
Yeah, I'm thinking that 27 team's going to pit. Tyler is a little out of practice about leading, a little out of practice with the game, and I'd like to think that he's got a good crew chief, got a good crew. That Team M7 been well established here at Fast. They'll probably bring him down pit road. Might be a fuel strategy call too here to try to make it to the end of the race, maybe with a little bit of saving.
Yeah, Joe, did you have some figures on pit road length on fuel stops?
Well, here's the thing, Tommy. We had to bring a skeleton crew here to Pocono this evening because of local restrictions, so I wasn't able to get as much information from the garage area as I would have liked. So we do not have those numbers, but we believe they're around 24 to 25 laps. So right now, these guys pitting, that's going to put them right on the window. I'm assuming with these guys staying out, they're going to be able to save enough fuel. You see the 47 of Andrew Miller comes down at, we just talked about he got all that track position, he comes back down pit road, but I'm assuming these guys staying out, they either come next time or they're going to just worry about, we saved enough under caution. There's no overtime here at Fast. But again,
oh, Joe, looking at the 47 and pit road right here, picking left sides only. I think why they got that advantage coming up of pit road, they put 2 on that first time by. That might have been why they had to pit again. Unfortunate for that team, of course. It would have been nice to have 4 freshies in track position, but something to think about. Just putting in a little bit more fuel in that stop, maybe enough to make it to the end on gas. So maybe a blessing in disguise, 47 team.
I love it. Anytime I think I know what they're doing down there on pit road, they show me that I don't know anything. But yeah, that 47 team.
I sure do. So we've seen some interesting strategies in the Stash Series all season long. It seems like, especially with that 9 car, who the 47 is going to line up right next to. But right now, guys, I don't know. It could be a fuel race if this thing goes green to the end.
Yeah, and you said that 9 car, Randall Coleman in that 9 Napa Chevy, is our Autosim driver spotlight for this evening. Autosim is a new text-based NASCAR simulation game. You can go down into the description below to find the link to the Autosim website where you can find out more about the game, more about the developers, and more about a great new community forming around a great user community created game. That's autosim.weebly.com. You can check them out. Close friend of mine running that whole project. He's done a great job there, developing it from, as you remember, something that was just, okay, I'm going to click a couple buttons, see what happens, to now something that's just a great, fantastic owner game where you can own different teams and build them up to make them into NASCAR powerhouses.
Yeah, the development of Autosim has been nothing short of incredible. Also, in the short span of time too, and it's gotten a lot of widespread recognition throughout the sim racing community. And I got to say, Autosim, I've had a lot of fun with it. I've had some funny results and also some really cool paint scheme ideas, even with certain drivers getting sponsors and car numbers and all that. So tremendous work there from Autosim, and I hope to see it grow even further and get more advanced and continue to be a cool little niche piece of work in this community that's fun to play with for sure.
Yeah, and I'd be don't want to forget to mention too, Beta 6.0 should be coming out the first week of July, so look out for that. That's going to be a huge update to the UI of the game. So look out for that. Autosim, a great partner for us here at JTN. Tommy, you of course know about some other great partners, and we'll get your words on that later in the race. But the pace car lights are off. We'll be going back green flag racing here this time by.
Yeah, as we go back, green flag racing, Joe, with the pace car lights off. That 18 car for Balcom on the inside came out of pit lane first instead of Matt Watkins. So now he inherits the lead, and we'll have to see what that 18 Coors Light Camaro can do up there.
Yeah, he's been in that dirty air all race. He got out front. Then we had a caution a couple laps later, so we'll see if he can get back out front. Maybe see if that 18 car has enough power to pull away from the rest of the field. He was great here last time in the winter. If I don't remember if you were in that race, but I was in that race, and that 18 machine was just so fast. They got a great setup, or a great car. Tonight, all these guys have the same setup. But a great machine in that 18. Everything on that piece is spotless, really, as the car is coming through turn 3 here. And Tommy, I see turn 3, but what about turn 4?
Well, yeah, I'm looking out the window here. I don't really see one. I think there's only 3 turns at this track, so a little bit of an abbreviated turn sequence here at Pocono, but these guys are ready to take the green flag nonetheless. Doesn't look like they're confused. Green flag waves. We're back racing here at Pocono, the tricky triangle.
Yeah, Bogham did a great. He pulled once he was clear of that 15. He pulled right up in front to try to get a great entry into turn 1, and you kind of got to arc that entry of turn 1 just to make sure you hit you kind of apex it, right? You want to hit the apron or close to the apron in the center of the corner. That way you can kind of get that launch off and get a great run down the long pond stretch.
Yeah, I can tell you definitely want to hit the apex. That apron can be, as one driver in the field might say, lava. So that 18 car doing a great job. A fantastic start. You saw that aggressive move to the outside to block the 15's run. Ooh, as they go through turn 2, look at the 15 got a little loose on those fresh tires. They're still cold, trying to get up to temperature.
Yeah, but it looks like the 18 doing a great job. He's starting to pull away from this 15 of Matt Watkins, but Watkins has been really good down here in turn 3. He hasn't gone as wide as these other guys, maybe helping him get a greater run off the corner, not hitting that wall sometimes, keeping damage off the right side of that machine, but running here, 18, 15, 4, 47, and 9.
Yeah, speaking of that 47, Joey's up to 4th after restarting 6th, so 2 spots on the initial restart. And I know that might not sound like much, but at a track where track position is so important and every point, every spot matters, I think that right there is going to be crucial for that 47 to stay with this lead pack. And of course, that number 4 car, Cody Luke, shout out to him right now in 3rd place.
Hey, 4 car Cody Luke's doing a great job. Did a great job last weekend at Chicagoland. Finished top 5. Now, were there that many guys in the race? He still finished top 5. It says top 5 in the record book. But Andrew Miller's going to be looking for 3rd place. Dives it down into turn 3. As now the 4 Cody Luke has a little transponder issue there. But the 47 of Miller's to his inside down the long pond down the front straightaway.
Woo, gets a little squirrely on exit there. It looks like he was trying to make that move on exit, but had to back out of it and kind of got the car upset. But I'm telling you, that 4 team, maybe they can get some good momentum with the top 5 here tonight again. That would be good for them in the point standings. Although right now it's these 2 cars up front, the 18 of Robert Baucom and the 15 of Matt Watkins, pulling away a little bit. Looks like the 47 is going to take that 3rd spot away. So it's that 18, 15, 47 top 3 that we've seen so often here tonight, back up front again.
Well, and don't look now. The 9 of Randall Coleman starting to get on the back bumper of that Ford. Cody Luke looking to try to make it his way up into the top 4 and hopefully run these leaders back down. I'm mixing up my words everywhere because this triangle, it's tricky. It's making my announcing tricky this evening.
It's really tricky, and so is that move that Randall's going to have to pull on Cody Luke on around the outside.
He does
like
it.
He's going to get it. Fantastic momentum and a great move by Randall Coleman. You mentioned earlier he was kind of mired in the field, a bad track position, but right now he has made his way up to 4th place, and he's trying to catch those top 3.
Yeah, he'll try to run him down. He's going to probably get to him, but it's going to be a different story trying to pass him. You can get a great draft down the straightaways here, but we talked about dirty air, dirty air, dirty air. I repeat it 3 times, hopes it does not appear, but dirty air definitely going to come into play here especially turn 2.
Yeah, that should be a tough corner to get right, but for them, now in that top group, you can see, a little bit of curb hitting there for the 15 car and the 47 right behind him, so these drivers are trying to get all they can out of it, using all the racetrack, and sometimes you might cross that line, both figuratively and literally.
Well, in that curb, it can really send your car to that outside wall, and if you got someone, maybe you're making a pass on someone, you hit that curb, and then all of a sudden you're in their door, ruining their race, ruining your race, right?
Oh, it's terrifically bad to hit that. It wants to push that car out to the outside wall, and it's not going to care whether or not there's a car on your outside, so you better be heads up if you're going through that corner side by side, especially if you guys are on old tires and running close together like this. So right now, I think, Joe, as we close in, we're under 20 laps to go. This is going to be, I think, a really important stage in the race to drivers to get the track position they need for the final several laps here at Pocono.
Yeah, and if you can get earlier on in a run, you can get these positions, get the track position, the easier the end of your race is going to be. You know, it's harder to take the track position than it is to give up. It's easy to give up spots here at Pocono. Go get the spots, go take them. Now, when you have better tires, right, you want to have as much grip as you can. You can make as many moves as possible. As we continue to run laps, you start, losing plays out of your playbook.
It can be really tough, and sometimes, all you're hoping for to pass somebody is that they make a mistake on those old tires. So, yeah, it can be really difficult to get around people, and I'm certainly, I think we're in for a good finish. I think we've always had exciting finishes here at JT, and I think tonight's going to be no different, especially with the caliber of driver that we have up front in this field. Those top 4, I'm telling you what, those are race winners, those are veterans of the game, and they can put on a really good show for us tonight. As Cody Luke, I got to say, that four car, it's still holding on to a top 5.
Yeah, he's doing a great job with that 14, but Keith Patton in that 69 starting to close in. I think those two, they're going to definitely be battling for 5th. Brian Wolf has fallen back to 7th. He's lost touch with them. And then Tyler Stallhood even farther back in that 27 machine. But again, first race back, doing a great job keeping the nose clean on that machine. Bill Myrna behind him, rounding out your cars that are still on the racetrack. So we go back to our lead. Durs.
Yeah, he's talked about cars on the racetrack. One car that's off is unfortunately my pick, the 44 of Michael Murata. I'm going to head down right now to the pits and see if we can get any word from him. He is checked and released from the care center as you see some action on track, the 9 by the 47.
Yeah, of course we missed it because that's what we do here at JTN. But yeah, Randall Coleman moving up into the 3rd position, does a great job of doing so. He'll try to run down these leaders. Again, he was our winner last time here at Pocono, so he knows how to make his way around this track. Again, interesting to see if that 9 car can get up to these leaders. Looks like Matt Watkins is starting to close in on Baucom in the 18. We're going to see if... be interesting to see, too, tires. Watkins is such a master of saving his tires here. At any race, at any track, he's done a great job of having long run speed. We saw it at Charlotte. He stole a win away from Andrew Miller, leading a freight train of Chevys behind him. He did a great job last week playing the strategy correctly at Chicagoland, making it a one-stop race. That 15 team really knows the strategy, but now, as I say, that 18 starts to pull away here. but it is Baucom in the 18, Watkins in the 15, Randall Coleman in the 9, running third. Fourth is Andrew Miller, who's starting to lose touch with Randall. Looks like he's starting to fade back into the clutches of Cody Luke. And sixth is Keith Patton. Seventh is Brian Wolf in that 29 Fluid Studios machine. You can see him back here. Beautiful car there with the 29 team. And then following him is that 27 Castrol GTX Toyota Super Supra of Tyler Stallhood. Rounding out, of course, our active drivers. Currently still on the track is Bill Myrna in the 3. See a great shot of these guys coming down the long pond straightaway. But again, these top 3 have really done a great job of staying away from the apron. You heard us talking about hitting that apron, how it can really ruin your race, ruin the guy around you's race, because it just sends you back up into the wall. As Baucom continuously does such a great job down here in turn 3, but Watkins does a better job usually of staying a little bit lower. These top 3 have really distanced themselves from the rest of the pack. Randall Coleman in the 9, Watkins in the 15, and Baucom in the 18 as we're closing in on 10 to go here at Pocono. The helicopter cam, you can really see this is really a great view of all these guys' lines. We're going to take you for a lap here, following our leaders. They're doing you see Coleman's really hugging the wall. I don't know, he's not staying in the slipstream of those 2 cars in front of him. See, Watkins does a better job of getting lower in turn 2, but looks like the 18 of Baucom takes a lot of that momentum. The 15 starting to close in. You can really see from this angle how these guys close in, but Watkins now taking a little bit of a higher line. 18's going to drift up close to the wall. It might give a little bit of a run to the 15 as he's able to get back on the throttle a little quicker to set him up for this long, long front straightaway. Continues to close in. It looks like he might be a little faster than Baucom in the 18 right now. He continues to hunt those Chevys down, pass them, put them in his rear view, and take wins away from him as he has done all season here on lap 37.
Well, Joe, I just got back speaking with Michael Murata, driver of the 44 car, and his team, and it looks like after that initial impact into the outside of the turn 3 wall, hitting with that left side of the car, it was a sheared left rear A-arm, broke on that car, and caused him to be very out of control, and eventually slide up and hit the 29 in that accident. So unfortunately for him, broken part caused a little bit of a unfortunate circumstance for other vehicles out here on track, 29 being Brian Wolf. So unfortunately for that team, but hopefully they can come back and rebound next race even stronger.
Yeah, and the next race will be at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway in beautiful Indianapolis, Indiana. Which you talked about how turn 2 was so tricky. Turn 2 is modeled after the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, the turns there. So we're gonna have 4 of those next week. What does that spell for these drivers?
Yeah, that's right. Well, Indianapolis is another track that I think track position is very important on. But I also want to point out at Indianapolis too, drafting can be a big thing there too along those really, really long straightaways. So I think if you can work the draft well, get around on somebody and pass them into a corner, that's going to be your only way around, folks. As we see the 47 car of Andrew Miller, like he's pulling down to pit, Joe.
Well, this might be another moment where I screwed up the pit strategy. These guys might have to pit one more time here. They might not have enough fuel. We're, about 15 laps since the start of the last run. 47 might be coming down. They all got to get tires. If you're coming to pit road, you're going to have to take at least a can. If it's about a 15 laps run, we're going to have about 10 to go once he gets back going on the lead lap. But he's not going to lose a lap here at Pocono with it being such a great large speedway, right?
It is a large speedway. You shouldn't lose a lap here. Hopefully the crew can have a mistake-free stop. That's 4 tires on that 47 car, so he's going to run this thing to the end on 4 fresh Goodyears and fill that thing full of fuel. So 47 out and away here on pit road in the last dash to the finish in the Dash Series.
Dash to the finish in the Dash Series as we are at. Do you want to say it?
Absolutely, Joe. It's the TWB 10 to go. For over a decade, TWB has provided businesses and consumers alike with products and services from a brand you can trust. For more information, visit us online at twb.com. TWB, together we're better. And now more than ever, we're together when we're better. And speaking of together when they're better, look like the 18 and the 15 drafting down that back straightaway, just trying to pull away just a little bit from Randall Coleman in that 9 car.
Yeah, and they're really showing some togetherness with those two. You have a Chevy, you have a Toyota, two different manufacturers working great to pull away from another Chevy, but I'm sure Robert Bauckham doesn't mind getting away from another guy. As they continue to, they run these different lines here in turn 3 as Watkins is going to get to his inside down the long pond, or down the front stretch. I keep calling it the long pond stretch. That ain't correct. But down the front stretch here at Pocono.
Yeah, it's very interesting to see the 15 make that move now.
Oh, no,
It looks like going into 1, he's going to get him on the inside right before pit stop. So kind of interesting. I don't really know. But they got to worry about one thing, Joe, and I think that's the 47 car. You see, he's short pit like that. He's on pressure tires than all these guys. One thing they have the advantage of is the draft, but the 47 cleared track in front. So and new tires. So we'll have to see how this all plays out. That pass right there might hurt them if it slows them down a little bit. But right now, it looks like they're cruising along just fine for the time being.
Well, and could they be staying out a little longer? Maybe they only take 2 tires instead of the 4 tires?
That would be a very good call, I think. And honestly, if I was in this race, I think that's what I would do. I like 2-tire calls. I like to risk it. I like to gamble. What can I say? I'm a big fan of Las Vegas, and it looks like Robert Bauckham screaming in the pit lane. I don't know if he got slowed down in time, but now the 18 car on the pit lane hard.
Yeah, he was really aggressive getting down to pit lane, but that leaves our 2 leaders, Matt Watkins in the 15 and Randall Coleman out there. They're going to have to come this next time most likely, so that way they don't lose too much time to that 18 machine. Be interesting to see what the 18 Coors Light car does in terms of tires, as they'll all be making this mad dash to the end of the race.
Yep, that 18 car taking right sides and left sides, 4 tires. That Camaro. We'll see how that pans out for him. And also, we got to see where he rejoins in comparison to the 47 car.
And if you're the driver of the 15 or the 9, are you wanting to hear that information about what, the guy, another one of the guys you're racing with is doing, as we see the 9 and Randall Coleman's going to be coming to pit road here?
Well, as far as tires go, you don't want to be left in the dark if someone's taking 2 tires. Maybe you want to try that, or maybe you don't want to try that. I'm telling you what, Joe, with the amount of laps we have left, I mean, we're diminishing here on the number of circuits around this racetrack you have to go. I know it's a long track, but I really like that 2-tire move. If somebody does it, I think they have a great advantage, and I think they're going to win this race.
Well, we're going to watch the stop of this 9-car, Randall Coleman. We've seen Randall be the contrarian all season long when it comes to strategy. See if he takes 2 tires. They got the right side jacked up, put right side tires on. It looks like he will. He's going to take 2 tires.
That's a terrific move. I think that could win this race.
Well, we'll have to see what the 15 and Watkins does, because he is still out on the track. He's going to have to make a pit stop, and I'm thinking that crew is definitely going to hear that Randall only took 2, and they'll do the same thing as he's going to be coming to pit road here.
Yeah, you'd expect him to take 2 for sure. I don't see that why he wouldn't. But Randall getting that 1-lap advantage, or however many laps it ends up being, I think is going to help him out a lot. Joe, this could be, like I said, a really exciting finish.
Yeah, it's going to, especially if the 18 of Bauckham somehow can get back up to these 2 leaders, because he's going to have those 4 freshies on his machine.
That's right.
Well, they're only going to have 2.
We got 3 cars on pit lane right here. That 15 of Matt Watkins pitting from the lead, the 69 of Keith Patton, and the 4 of Cody Luke in top 5s the time they entered pit road. It looks like, the 15 took 2, but the 4 of Cody Luke coming into pit road right in front of him held him up just a little bit. We'll see how that plays out.
I think he's still going to be ahead of Coleman. As you see the view of the front stretch, there's Randall Coleman coming into the picture up to speed, but Watkins, I'm thinking, might be able to retain this lead as he's pulling away down here in turn 1.
Yeah, looks like, in fact, he's going to extend it a little bit too.
Yeah, they did a great job on that 15 machine, but someone noticeably absent from this lead battle for the win is Robert Bauckham. Too fast coming to pit road. You said it there. You were surprised. You weren't going to be surprised if he sped, and he did. So that will move Andrew Miller up to 3rd.
Yeah, he really came in hot, and I don't blame him. I mean, you gotta try and go for every advantage you can, especially because of how we saw pit road timing work out there. Watkins pulling away, so he needed a good pit lane stop, of course, but unfortunately for him, he just pushed that edge a little bit too much, and that's going to cost him a shot at the win here tonight.
And just unfortunate. They've, first race back in a little while, running so great with that whole 18 crew, and to have it washed away just because of a pit stop, that's got to really sting for the driver.
Sure does. I'm sure we've both been there many times. Never a good feeling to be caught speeding.
Now, if I can reminisce a little, couple years ago at the Texas Motor Speedway, our the house that Randall Coleman built, I sped on pit road so early in the race that I went a couple laps down, but then ended up finishing top 5. So, if anything, you can speed on pit road, but you got to do it early on in a race where you have time to correct your mistake.
Yeah, certainly 5 laps to go, 4 laps to go to the line right here. That's not enough time.
But as you see, Matt Watkins still your leader, Randall Coleman third. Those 2 tires helping them extend their gap back to the 47 of Andrew Miller, who now runs third. He is followed by Tyler Stallhood in the 27, or no, Keith Patton in the number 69. Stallhood is a lap down. And then Cody Luke rounding out your top 5.
Check out that top 5. I mean, we talked about it earlier in this race. Cody Luke with the top 5 last week, looking to build that momentum. He certainly is right now. In that 5th position, and the number 4 car, the 69 and the 4 came together down pit road, and well, good for them running together, having a great day here at Pocono.
Well, we almost saw a disaster strike as the 4 was coming into his stall in front of the 15. Great to see that didn't end up being a huge deficit for the 15 machine as he continues to lead here. But Randall Coleman might be closing that gap a little, but I don't think he's going to have enough time.
Yeah, he's really going to have to step on it if he's going to close that gap and have a shot at the win here, especially so tough to pass. So he's going to have to push hard. Of course, you know he is, but yeah, unfortunately, I don't know if we're going to be having enough time in this race for him to catch.
Well, that'll extend Matt Watkins' streak of wins to 2. That doesn't sound like a lot, but getting 2 wins in a row here has proven difficult. You know, we saw them him and David Day trading off wins early on in the season, and then he's kind of been able to win 2, and then David Day will come back and win a race, and then he'll win 2, and then David Day will come back. So, be really interesting to see if we can get some different winners as the season trudges on here. Randall?
Yeah, winning 1 race is tough enough, let alone winning 2 in a row. So, yeah, that 15 car is doing a great job. 2/10 of a second gain by Randall Coleman that time. I'm checking my calculator right now, Joe. I don't think that's going to be enough.
Did you really need the calculator for that, though? Did you really?
Math was not my strongest subject.
Hey, but driving a race car is. You're doing a great job over there in the NACO series on Tuesday nights before you fly across country. You flew across the border tonight from Canada to get here to the Pocono, and I really appreciate that, Tommy. Like I said, we had a skeleton crew here this evening, and again, really appreciate you making the time to get here, taking all that time and effort and money as the white flag is in the air. Matt Watkins takes it one more time. We'll be going one more lap here at Pocono.
Yeah, Joe. Well, I'll tell you what, I'm racking up the frequent flyer miles, that's for sure, helping out the JTN crew, but I wouldn't have it any other way. This has been as always, a blast, and to see some great racing out here, and to broadcast it with one of my best friends it means a lot to me.
Yeah, and it means a lot to me that you come out every week, and you've been one of my biggest supporters so far. And I can never tell you how much that means to me. I'm going to try not to get too sappy here on the broadcast. Ruin Matt Walker's moment here at Pocono as he goes through turn 2. He'll bring it through turn 3 one more time, seal the deal here, win his, I don't even know how many races you've seen him win here on YouTube. Matt Watkins in this 15 Super Mario Toyota Supra. Brings it off turn 3, down to the line, checkered flag in the air. Watkins, Toyota, and team win again here at Pocono.
Well, the track was tricky, but the driver was tough. Matt Watkins in that Toyota Supra, another victory for that 15 machine. But shout out to Randall Coleman, too, second after he was mired back in 8th, 9th place just midway through this thing. So he did a great job to get himself up to a top 2 finishing position. And how about that 69 in the 4 car, Patton in the 69, and Mr. Cody Luke in that 4 getting top 5s. That's huge momentum for those guys.
Yeah, and it's great to see them, you know, some of the guys that maybe you don't think are going to get these great finishes to go out and get the great finishes, you know, any way they can. It doesn't really matter how you get it. Stat sheet just says top 5. Randall Coleman congratulates our winner, Matt Watkins, down the short chute. We'll see he'll come down the front stretch to his little bit of burnouts. That 15 team likes to keep their equipment as fresh as they can. You can never save too much money.
I don't blame him. I don't like doing burnouts. Usually, if I win a race, man, it's all about doing the Alan Kulwicki Polish victory lap.
Oh yeah, you know me, gotta do it. But everyone congratulating Matt Watkins on his second straight win here at Pocono. It's been a great time. He's gonna take it around to victory lane. It looks like maybe not. He almost hit the fence there.
Hopefully that crowd gets out of the way for him.
What crowd? I don't see a crowd. We're
Oh
social
yeah,
distancing.
that's right. Yeah, cardboard cutouts. Of course. There he goes.
Well-deserved win for Matt Watkins. Now he's doing burnouts in the infield.
That's a new one.
Celebrating with his crew and sponsors and team. Again, my name is Joe Twansky. Alongside me this evening has been Tommy Bordeaux. Thank you so much, Tommy, for joining us for this amazing broadcast. 50 laps here at the Pocono Raceway. A long one. Ended up running about an hour and 15 minutes, boys. We're getting better and better at this every week. Hope you join us next week at 9 p.m. for our race at Indianapolis. And tomorrow night, playoff special, playoff selection, not really selection because we already know the 16 drivers, but playoff special previewing the 2020 Season 1 Under Armour Cup Series for the Fast Racing League playoffs, 7 races, 1 champion, 16 drivers vying for that title. Tommy, and you and I, we're going for it. We're going all out these next 7 weeks, right?
You bet we are, and both of us, Joe, have been to that Final Four before, and we're looking to get back there again. I'll tell you what, I'll put on my Wednesday best for the event tomorrow night. Can't wait to see you there. This JTN team can put together. I'm sure it's going to be good. It always is.
Thank you for that, Tommy. And we will see you guys next time. Make sure you hit the like, subscribe. You know what to do. You've been here to YouTube before. Again, Joe Twansky for Tommy Bordeaux. Thank you so much for watching, and we hope to see you either tomorrow night or next week. See you guys.